The false idea that he who finishes does not suffer, that is an ancient belief, repeated almost as absolute truth, that who ends a relationship does not feel pain. As if the decision to interrupt a cycle was synonymous with coldness, as if choosing the end was a simple, calculated act without tears and loss. But no one sees what happens behind the final moment. No one sees the nights awake before the decision. No one sees the heart divided between staying and going. No one sees the weight that someone carries when he understands that, as much as I love it, I can no longer follow that way. The truth is, most of the time, who ends had already been suffering long before the other realized. Suffered in silence. Suffered trying. Suffered struggling with the feeling that was lost within the relationship itself. And he suffered even more by admitting that nothing I did would change that. The end is not born on the day it is announced. It starts well before, in the conversations that failed, in the warnings ignored, in the failed attempts to rescue something that was already falling apart, and that is why those who end suffer too. Suffers because I did not want to get to that point. Suffers because he had expectations, plans, dreams. Suffers because a piece of identity always breaks down when a love ends. Suffers because he knows that it will be misunderstood, judged, pointed out as the cold, the insensitive, the wrong. Many people do not realize, but sometimes ending is an act of courage and, at the same time, an act of mourning. Courage because it takes strength to assume that something does not do you good anymore. I grieve because all ends, even the necessary ones, hurt. Who finishes also misses, also remembers good times, is also questioned. Did I do the right thing? Did I try hard enough? What if? This is the part that no one sees. Ending is often bury a hope that try to keep alive until the last breath. Is to release the hand of someone you loved, but no longer walked by his side. It is to accept that love is not enough when there is wear, pain, absence, or emotional imbalance. Who ends suffers because he also loses. Loses the routine, loses the bond, loses the imagined future. Lose what one day believed to be forever. And it suffers even more when you have to deal with the guilt of others. You have given up. You didn't try hard enough. You should have held out longer, as if love is measured by the ability to remain, and not for the truth of feeling. But the truth is simple and painful. No one finishes because they want to hurt. We end because it is already hurt too much. And to recognize that is an act of humanity. Whoever finishes is not a villain. Who finishes is not cold. Who ends does not stop loving. Who ends only understands, sometimes late, sometimes early, to remain in something that no longer exists, is an even greater kind of suffering. In the end, what hurts is not only the breakup, it is the silent process that led to her. So the next time someone looks at who had the courage to end a cycle and say that this person does not feel anything, remember, the pain of those who remain is visible. The pain of those who end is invisible, but it is not less. And in the silence of every difficult decision, there is a heart that is also trying to rebuild itself. Do you have a story to tell? Send to us. Here, each story is a seed of courage that inspires other women to flourish. Rebuild yourself, because telling your story is also an act of healing.